I'm joined by Vito Consultants. He is the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce president, working with Suzanne hand in hand to make sure that all of the businesses are connected. When he is not working with the chamber, he donates his time teaching free Google classes where he consults about social media, marketing, and branding strategies. He also volunteers to help local businesses strategize about how to connect with the community. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, Vito.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
So first, tell us a little bit about your position as a Chamber of Commerce president and how it impacts the community, and maybe a little bit how you work with those members in the Chamber of Commerce.
Sure, it's an honor and always a thrill to be a part of the chamber, especially the executive board. We work closely with Suzanne, and she's really the fire plug behind the entire chamber. We are destined, and we want to always provide support to businesses in an educational way or whatever way they really request. We get a lot of requests for networking, for new business opportunities, and we work with those members, especially Suzanne, who connects people with those businesses. And my role is to facilitate everything she needs as far as resources or time or making sure the right businesses connect. I also work with the board to make sure that we're presenting opportunities to the business community in terms of education. So we have a lot of different groups and a lot of opportunities for businesses to learn about marketing, to connect with an expert, to learn about what's going on, with the health systems, what's going on with seniors. We have a lot of opportunities that I help manage and coordinate with Suzanne and the other executive members of the board and the other members of the board to make sure that we're bringing information not only to the businesses but information to the community to support them and really drive the Greater West Bloomfield area forward in terms of support, knowledge, information, and really anything else they need. We get a lot of requests specifically to connect with other businesses in the area and look for those opportunities. So we often, we have a lot of networking to make sure that they are reaching the right people and talking to the right people.
And Vito, you also own a consulting business called Vito Consultants. Can you give us some more details about that, and maybe a little bit how you got into consulting and what inspired that?
Sure. For a long time, I worked in many different advertising agencies, a lot of different marketing departments, and there was just a point where a lot of people were asking me, is there anything you can do for me individually? Can we have a side conversation? Can we have a sidebar about some of the needs I have in my business? And that really started to spin off into more people asking, more people wanting, and all of a sudden I started to realize maybe I can make a run at this as a consultant or as my own business. And what I provide is things like lead generation, trying to get people to the right names, the right numbers, the right people, the right profiles, build their brand. I have a brand exercise where I take people through, who they're trying to look for beyond logo, beyond colors, and beyond fonts. The brand really tells you who you are, your values, your pillars, what you're trying to do, your mission, vision. I often help people with their social media, whether it's the creative part or looking at the data and analysis in back of it. We'll help people with email marketing. I'm a provider and partner with an email company, Constant Contact. CRM services, I work with HubSpot Active Campaign. I manage their CRMs. I help people with their paid advertising, their public relations, their content. As you said, I'm skilled in the Google products. We have a partnership with the Chamber with Grow with Google that we're very proud of. And through that, we educate people through Google, all the different things Google can do for you. We're also partners in terms of my company and the Chamber. I do a lot of pro bono work for the Chamber and their marketing. We work on people's strategy, their data and analytics, and their website and SEO. I've been fortunate to have a lot of different clients in my background, so I have a lot of different services I can offer, and it's really been a tremendous experience to be able to put that knowledge to work for large and small clients.
And then during your time with Vito Consultants, are there any things that you see come up again and again with your clients that come to you, whether those are difficulties with the pandemic or things that maybe with the growing technology that people have a hard time with?
Yeah, the most difficult part of marketing right now is this, exactly what you just said. It is really hard to keep up with the technology, really hard to understand what's going on, and really hard to know what the trends are. So one of the things I do to address that, we have 2 webinars a month through the Chamber, which is basically all educational. The other thing I like to do to help people is to just give them a free consultation, a discovery session. They can tell me what they're doing, if it's working or not. And I do a deep dive with them for a few hours and say, hey, here's some products and some services you may have heard of, and here's what their costs would be, and here's how to manage them. One of the big things I try and do is through the education, because things are changing so quickly, and what COVID did was it really set people back, because some people went full in on the marketing, some people had to pull back, and all the technology and the process of marketing just went forward. So what happens now is people are coming to me and saying, I've heard about this, I think I can do that. what does that mean and how do I do it? So what I'll often do is sit with people and say, well, here's the basics, here's the technology needed, here's how you're going to do it. And I try and empower them to let them know that they can probably do this on their own, or I can manage it for them. But realistically, I try and get them to understand how they can do it themselves, because at some point they're going to find out and figure out that they could have done it. My theory is, why not try and empower them to get them to do it now, as opposed to learn later on the back end. So those are some big issues that the companies face. A lot of pullback in marketing and spend. Meanwhile, marketing kept going forward, all this software, and it really creates a big backlog and a mess. So we have a lot of people trying to sort out, what can I do? And then as far as your other question, some of the big obstacles, one of the biggest obstacles I've seen, and it's all since the beginning of all the digital, is when you tell LinkedIn, you tell Twitter, you tell Facebook, when you set a budget, and that budget is $100 a week, those guys are going to spend $100 a week. And a lot of people don't realize that that's an investment that's going to be continuously spent. And what they end up doing after about 6 months or 3 months or even 2 or 3 weeks, they realize, I just spent $600 in 6 weeks, but they forget that that's exactly what they told these companies to do. So watching that spend has become mission critical for so many years, and it still goes on, because it's so tempting when Facebook says, for $100 you can reach 3,000 people, and then the next day for $200 you can reach 6,000 people. So of course, all of a sudden in 2 days you're at $300, and you don't realize that because you heard the number 6,000 people and 3,000 people, and it just starts to crush a lot of budgets, and a lot of people get that point to the point where they don't know what happened after about a month or two of all these tempting offers. So controlling your spend is really one of the more difficult situations, because Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, they make it so easy, and it's so tempting. And I've been told I'm going to reach 8,000 people, and all I had to do was hit a button and I put my credit card down, and then they think, well, where are those 8,000 people? I didn't sell 8,000 items. And that's part of that balance. And that's one of the things I try and talk to people about before they even decide to spend a penny. Have you looked at the budget? How many people do you think you can spend, reach when you spend? And let's look at what Facebook does, because Facebook has Blueprint, which is an academy that they have set up. It's free, series of 5 3-minute videos that explain the basics of advertising on Facebook. I always tell people, you want to go crazy on these platforms, take 2 or 3 hours, educate yourself, let's talk, and let's really understand where that money is going to be spent, because you might not bring in 10,000 in revenue after spending 12,000 in budget. So it's everybody tells me, but I was going to reach 8,000 people. It was only $100. And I think, well, be careful.
Well, thank you so much for that advice. It's very important, especially during the holiday season as we head into 2022, for everyone to get some good marketing advice. So thank you for joining us this morning, Vito.
Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.